a good Yom Tov, this auspicious Chag HaGeula, the day where the previous Rebbe was freed from his imprisonment. So, l'chaim yidin. Let us give some tzedakah. Let's quickly say chapter Tehillim Shel Amalis Eino Lormani of Yezri. Ezri mi madenu Yisrael Shmem Retzalita Lemoit Reglach Al Yom Shemrecha Enilo Yonem Elishon Shoymer Yisrael Adenu Shemrecha Adenu Tzilch Al Yadi Menecha Yom Hashem Shlo Yakeko V'Reich Balolo Adenu Yishmocho Mikol Ro Yishmer Es Nafshecha Adenu Yishmor Tzisro V'Yecho Me'atov Ad Olam. So you're asking, what's the Yom Tov? Not just any Yom Tov. If we are today where we are, it's because of this Yom Tov. But let me not get ahead of myself. Let's first go back. What happened? In the year 1927, the previous Rebbe, that is the Rebbe Rayatz, the father-in-law of the Rebbe, Rabbi Zushe, was taken into custody on the 15th day of the month of Sivan, middle of the night actually, and eventually was liberated on the 12th and the 13th day of Tammuz, which today is the 12th of Tammuz, about a month later. Leaders of the free world came to the Rebbe's defense, exerting heavy pressure on the communist regime, and eventually the original death sentence, which was planned, was commuted to first 10 years harsh labor in Siberia, then to 3 years in exile, and then, as we just said, on the 12th and the 13th of Tammuz, he was fully freed. A lot have been spoken about it, a lot have been written about it. I just want to read for you a few of the paragraphs of a lengthy report, a narrative, written by Rebbe Eli Chaim Haltrois. He was one of the Rebbe's most trusted chassidim and close, devoted individuals. And he recorded in details the background and the narrative of the tumultuous time prior to the previous Rebbe's arrest and eventual liberation. Here is one thing besides. We Chassidim, those of us who felt closest to the Rebbe, were already fearful from the beginning of that year, 1927, from Rosh Hashanah on. We had this ominous hint during the awesome moments that preceded the sounding of the shofar on the first day of Rosh Hashanah, when the Rebbe was saying the words Min Hameitzar Korosiko, from the straits of distress I called to God. Suddenly, from the depth of the Rebbe's heart, we heard a loud and bitter sigh in Yiddish, Oi Gewalt. And it was just before he said the words of Al Yashkuni Zedim, let the wicked not oppress me. We realized something is happening. On Simchas Torah, usually the most of a happy occasion, the whole night, the day and the night, were pervaded by a spirit of bitterness coming from a shattered heart from the Rebbe. Throughout the winter of the year 1927, heavy clouds hung over the Rebbe and over all his Chassidim, though we didn't know why. And in particular, the atmosphere in his home was charged with dread. Not a single day passed without an obstacle planted by the malicious band known as the Bund or the Yevseksiya. Unfortunately, Jewish people who made it their life goal to eradicate everything that the Rebbe is doing. And the Rebbe's single-handedly superhuman efforts continued to battle them. Wherever they closed a shul, a cheder, an institution, a mikveh, he reopened. And when they realized they won't be able to overcome him and his determination, unfortunately they decided the only way they will succeed in eradicating every vestige of Judaism under the communist regime will be by, heaven forbid, remove him from this world. Rebbe Chaim continues, that winter, in the month of Adar, he took a train to Moscow to deal with matters of public concern. And I was at the station to see him off. When I entered his cabin to wish him well and to receive his blessings, he uttered those words, a kapitel Tilim, Kenny Chapman. A chapter of Tehillim wouldn't go amiss. Zog a Kapitel Tehillim for mir. Say a chapter of Tehillim for me. When I heard those words, I shuddered. I realized that the Rebbe is aware that he is endangering his life, but he understood he is obligated to be prepared for literal self-sacrifice. He had no substitutes on whom he could rely. All of us who observed what was happening clearly saw that it is he alone that saved and reconstructed the ruins of the house of Jacob in our country. If not for him, the Torah would have been forgotten by the Jews who lived there. If Chas v'Sholom tomorrow we're still in exile, we will continue discussing this matter and see how today, 100 years later, we see those results of his self-sacrifice.